Now, before yesterday's NBA draft, Steve Francis's agent said he would have a problem playing in Vancouver. Obviously, one of the problems is Steve Francis doesn't know where Vancouver is. At least he didn't at the time he was picked second overall yesterday. Now, I'm sure since then he's grabbed the Rand McNally and checked out where we actually are. The Grizzlies are not planning to trade Steve Francis to any city that he's heard of.
With the second pick in the 1999 NBA draft, the Vancouver Grizzlies select Steve Francis from the University of Maryland.
There's no overlooking it. New Grizzlies Steve Francis looked about as happy as Mike Bibby did last year when Bibby was drafted in the first round. Which makes you wonder, why draft a player who appears less than thrilled about coming to a team that already has a point guard, the position Steve Francis wants to play?
He didn't appear that he was the happiest guy at the draft, tonight. And I think he has, the ability to play two different positions a lot, the same way a Joe Dumars did, in terms that he can play the two. And actually, I think right now, at this point in his career, he's probably more two than he is one.
I wanted to be the '1 pick, no doubt. I'm pretty sure all the guys who are in the green room now wanted to do that. So just to be selected is something that I really would cherish for the rest of my life.
At 6'3", Francis is a great leaper that can slash his way to the bucket like Allen Iverson, who most scouts compare Francis's game to. Last year he led Maryland with 17 points a game, but he can also play D. His 95 steals this past season, the second highest total in Maryland history. As for his weaknesses, well, aside from not knowing where Vancouver is, he'll have to mature his game to the NBA level.
I'm definitely looking forward to being a professional basketball player, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm definitely an up and down guy. When I was at Maryland, that's what we did. And, I can adjust my game to just about anything that goes on.
With the selection of Steve Francis, we've given ourselves a little bit better ability to shoot the ball, and we've given ourselves a hell of a lot more ability to break defenses down. Right now, that's our full intent, is to keep the pick. As I've stated in other drafts past, we don't select players with the intent to trade them, and this draft is no different.
Now, Steve Francis is going to be flown to Vancouver on Monday to meet with the Grizzlies brass, meet with the media, and get a tour of the city he's going to be living in. He'll play alongside Mike Bibby when he's ready to start in the NBA, and this could really change Vancouver's offense around. In the past, they've gone through Sharif and then Bryant Reeves, but with a guy like Steve Francis, obviously Sharif's your first choice offensively. Francis could very well be the second choice, and that could be a much faster team the Vancouver Grizzlies will have, so it'll make you wonder what Big Country's role is going to be in it. The rest of the first part of the draft yesterday went like this. Vancouver would have taken Elton Brand had he been available, but the Bulls took him instead. Lamar Odom dropped to number 4. He was the guy who was in the draft and he wanted out of the draft. They said you couldn't go back to school. Vancouver had some questions about his character, so they didn't pick him. And Todd McCulloch, who played in Washington, is from Winnipeg. He was selected in the second round by the 76ers. Now, the Grizzlies had 2 picks in the second round. At 51st, they went for forward Antwain Smith. He was a Division II All-American. The 37th spot overall, the Grizzlies went for one of Steve Francis's teammates, 6'10" forward Obinna Ekezie. Now, Ekezie won't mind leaving school for Vancouver because he's used to leaving his home to play basketball since he is originally from Nigeria. Good shot blocker, averaged 12.7 points this past season, but he suffered a serious Achilles tendon injury in February, and he's still recovering from it. And one other note from yesterday's draft, Seattle took Corey Maggette of Duke, number 1, their first pick. Then they traded him with 3 veterans to Orlando to pick up veteran Horace Grant and 2 future second rounders.